Greetings to each one of us, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jeffrey speaking to us, and I believe that each and every one of us is doing all right, even as we get to meet again for yet another motivational packed video, right? Now, for those who don't know me, just call me Lera Fred. And today, I want us to speak very candidly. As you can see from the thumbnail title shared, I want to speak about my biggest failure or failures while I was still learning German. Now, this is going to be a bit of a candid talk because I know many teachers or many learners don't love to speak about their failures. Many normally just speak about their wins, etc. But today I want us to speak honestly. I'm going to be sharing my story about one of the areas that I had challenges in or failures in, right? So, without much further ado, let's get right into it. Now, I remember back then when I began learning German, back in my A1, one of the areas that I had the biggest challenge in was in HÖREN. Now, I know almost 90% or 80% of you watching are going to agree with me that one of the challenging areas for many people, especially when learning the new language, is on HÖREN. Like, I don't know how it gets to be. Have you realized the time that when the horn is about to play, before they play the horn, it's very quiet, there is no noise, it's very peaceful. But as soon as they hit the play button for horn, it suddenly gets very chaotic. You can hear, now there's too much noise, right? Birds chirping, aeroplanes flying, cows moving. I don't know why it happens, or I think it's because one gets oversensitive, right? You realize that when the horn audio is played, one becomes oversensitive, that they forget concentrating on the audio they're doing and they start concentrating on the environment and other distractions around them, right? So, anyways, I digressed. Back to my story. This was in A1. I remember I didn't have any challenges in speaking or schreiben, but in the Hören, truth be told, back then when I was still learning in my A1, I really faced a challenge. I used to wonder, are these people really speaking, or because you can imagine whenever the audio plays, it's like they're not speaking, right? Okay, I don't know if you're getting this. It's like you're in the cloud or something. It's too noisy, too chaotic, right? But I came to realize that what made it difficult, especially for me, is that whenever the horn was played, we tend to focus on the distractions more than we focus on the audio. More of that we'll be saying as we continue. So I remember my first horn, I scored a 3, right? I went further, I scored a 5, and this was out of 15, right? 3, 5. So it kept fluctuating 3, 2, 5, 3, 2, 1, 5, right? etc. And then, as soon as I learned the mistake that I was doing, it finally became easy for me. And I was able to now score it consistently. Now, this was the mistake. Now, one of the mistakes I know even you that is watching normally do is this. Many people, you find that whenever they're doing the horn, they read the question firstly, right? And then, you know what they do? They rush to the answers. So you're reading the question, and then you go to the choices. And then afterwards, when they listen. Do you know how fatal this is? Because you're going to realize in HÖREN, the choices normally almost are the same. So if you read the question and then go to the choices, even before you do the audio, you will try to force one of the choices to be your answer. And that's why it is normally detrimental for you to read the question and then choices. This is wrong. Instead, I should only read the question. After having read the question, all right, now fully listen to the audio. Give your full attention to the audio and see, pick up some keywords. Afterwards is when I come back to my choices and then I begin marking. But if you do questions, choices, listen. Even before they begin playing, you will already have a bias to like one of the choices. This feels, so you'll be marking your answers as like, this feels to be correct instead of marking from what you've had. So, basically, many people when they're doing the horn, they normally gaze, right? Guys, tell me the truth. When you're doing your horn, do you normally do it like that you've had it, or do you normally gaze? Kindly share it here below, all right? So, guys, that is what I meant. I really struggled with it, but after having realized that mistake that I've just shared right now, it became easier for me. Now, besides this, I had to play as much audios as possible. This included movies, TV shows, and even conversations that I would watch live, right? Of course, it didn't skyrocket at first, no. It took time, but eventually up until now, it has become so easy for me because now I can easily hear each and every word that is being spoken. I like to also give this analogy. Compare yourself to back then when you were learning English as a child. Truth be told, as a child, I can tell you there is no way you would watch a movie and understand every word, right? You really struggled with the first movie. You can remember the first movie you watched? Maybe it was Baby's Day Out. I remember for me, I used to watch Baby's Day Out or Home Alone, right? So the first movies you watched, you were just watching for the action, right? You would just watch and forward and see the action, right? But the more you became older, is the more you now got to understand each word that was spoken. The same thing also happens with the German. You know, many are just beginning to learn the German, maybe A1 or A2, but they're already killing themselves. Why can't I hear? Not knowing that it is a process. So if there's anything that you take out of this video, is this. Truth be told, HÖREN will be difficult at start. But as you continue to build up on it gradually, it will become one of the easiest papers for you. So don't kill yourself. I've seen people normally begin, quit, stop, and altogether blame HÖREN, this and that, not knowing that it's a process. So guys, please take it easy, learn it gradually, but consistently. And you'll be surprised how you'll be in a position to also get it in time, right? So guys, that was my trauma, my HÖREN, but now I can tell you, it's one of the papers that I can easily score, whether I'm alive or whether I'm awake or sleeping. It's the papers that I can easily score, right? So I want to also hear your stories. Which module have you struggled with? Where do you find challenge? What are some of the failures? Today I want us to speak about the failures and the solutions, right? What are some of the challenges or failures you've had to go through or you're still going through? Feel free to share below with your neighbors so that we can also comment and also review the same. So with that said and done, ladies and gentlemen, das ist Alice, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. Remember, Übung macht den Meister. Tschüss.